In this video, we're going to take a look at modeling custom forms. And we're going to do that today using a model in place component. So we're very familiar with our components and our Revit families that we load in that are external files. But this one, a model in place component, means that it lives only within the project that you build it in. It is transferable from project to project if you have both of them open and you do like a copy paste, but it does not live as an outside file. I find that I don't use these a ton, but they are very helpful, especially if you're building something related to items in the model itself. So maybe it's, going around a column, it's some custom casework that has, certain dimensional constraints due to other elements in the model, something like that. But, something like a table or a chair is something you would normally want to build as its own family outside as a normal component, not a model in place. But let's go ahead. I'm going to start with a model in place component. First thing you're going to do is pick your category, and this is going to be important for your visibility graphics and which category it is under. I'm just going to go with generic models for this for today because we're just going to play with the different forms and learn them here. So I'm going to start, let's leave that for it. If you know specifically what you're building, you would want to label that, but we're just going to work with some forms here. So up here on the upper left, we have the different forms that we'll go through today. And we're going to start with the extrusion. And you'll note that I am in a sketch mode right now. You can see that everything behind me here is grayed out. And I am in the model in place component sketch mode. All right, so you can see that here for the finish model or cancel model. And then I'm going to go hit extrusion here, and this is going to take me into a second sketch mode. All right, so it's important to remember that you can be in two different sketch modes within a model in place component. So next extrusion here, I'm going to draw a profile, and then it's going to extrude that profile up as that little demo is showing you here. So I'll go ahead and sketch in a shape. I'm just going to stick with a simple rectangle to start. And right now this is our X and our Y, but of course we're working in 3D, so it also has a Z, a height here associated with it, as 1 foot high right now. I can always change that. Okay, so now I just finished my extrusion. Notice I'm still in my model in place sketch mode. All right, and you can also have multiple extrusions within the same model in place component. So we'll take a look at that here. Let's just do a look at these in 3D as well. If I grab my extrusion, I can edit it by my height here on the side, or I can also, it's not as clean, but you can also just drag any of these arrows to modify the extrusion. All right, I'm going to go ahead and copy a couple of these. I'm just copying it in plan right now, so they're all at the same height, but if I wanted to change the height on these, I can do that easily. Let's just go to the front view here. So essentially I've got some little stacked cubes here. All right, so again, note I'm still in the model in place sketch mode, but I have 3 extrusions in one component. All right, so you can build and you can use all of the different forms in one component. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish this one now so you can see how it works and why you might want to have multiple forms within one model in place component. That means that all of these, while you still can edit them individually here with the push and pull arrows, if I were to move this item with my move command, it's going to move all of them together. That's the wrong shortcut that I'm typing there. So it'll move all of those together. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the other forms. I'm going to start a new model in place component, generic models again. And now let's look at the blend. So the blend allows you to do 2 different profiles. You'll have the base, which it puts you in by default to draw. And then you have the top. So once I finish drawing my base here, I need to go to edit top. And then I'm going to draw in a top here. And it is going to, and then to finish, I'll do the green check mark here to finish that. I'm still in my model in place component, a good way, sketch mode. All right, so I had the sketch mode for my blend, now the sketch mode for my model in place component. Good way to test that is always just to see what else what you can select. You're only when you're in the model in place component sketch mode, you're only going to be able to select the elements in that phase or in that component. Again, I can adjust my height here via the arrows or my properties here on the left-hand side. All right, so that is my blend. Very good for bases, maybe table legs, that sort of thing. All right, so I'll go ahead and finish that. I'm just gonna leave the blend on its own in its own component so you can see the difference there. All right, let's go ahead and do another one. Okay, I'm gonna do a revolve. So a revolve takes a 2D profile, and I'm gonna watch the explanation here. 2D profile around an axis, and it revolves it around that axis to create the form. So on this one, they were right up against it, so it is a solid form. Let's take a look here. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw my axis line. All right, so that's the thing that my profile is going to rotate about. Now let's just let's do a more interesting shape here. All right, so you can see how then it quickly revolves it. There we go, about that axis line. And it looks kind of like it's on its side, right? And that's because of the plane that I did that in. If you wanted it to go in the other direction, you would want to draw it in a elevation or a section view. I'm in a floor plan, so since I draw the axis line that way, it rotates about it. Let's try one more. So if I put my axis line here, if I were to draw something not touching the axis line, this should just look like a big donut, right? And there we go. So you can have that hole in the center by adjusting how far that is. If I need to adjust it, I can always come back in and adjust it and edit that revolve. So you can just start to visualize, in 3D, this profile wrapping around this axis line. All right, also great for, think of it too like a lampshade, base of a lamp, legs, table legs, chair legs, really useful tool here. So I'll go ahead and finish that for the revolve. I did draw two of them in that component. That's why they're both selecting here as I look at it. And I'm going to do another component in place. All right, and we'll do this for the sweep. All right, so the sweep has two components in well. It has a path and a profile. So I'm going to sketch the path. This is a really good tool for crown molding, also what could be used for gutters, all sorts of different things. They're actually gutters host off of the roof, so that's a little bit different. But anything that you have a profile that you want extended along a path. So I'll go ahead and draw a path. The path has to be continuous. All right, so it can't be, I can't have a break here like that. That's not going to work. I'm going to undo that. And right here is going to be the profile for your, the work plane for your profile. So now that I have my path set, I'm going to finish sketching my path. All right, now I need to select my profile. So you can either sketch the profile or load the profile. So I'm going to go ahead and load it. And I forgot that we need to go here. All right, so we're going to have to load the profile beforehand. All right, well, let's go ahead and do the sketch on this one then, and we'll load a profile and then come back to that. So if I want to edit the profile, I need to make sure that I'm in a view where I can see the work plane. So you could do it in a 3D view or in an elevation. I'll go ahead and sketch it in 3D here. Let's say I just wanted to do There we go. I just want to make sure I'm in the right view for that. So I'm going to go to front here. It's going to be easier to sketch it when it's in a flat than just in the 3D. I'm going to switch here, go to an arc. And of course, if you were, you would be measuring this accurately if you were drawing that out, but this is just for an example here. All right, so now you can see that profile that we have sketched here. And now once I finish my sweep here, it's going to extend that profile all the way along this path. So let's go ahead and hit finish the sweep, and there we go. At any point in time, you can always go back in and edit the sweep and edit the path or the profile. So I'll go ahead and finish that model. Let's go ahead and load in some profiles. So you're going to want to do this before you start building the family, unlike how I did it, but that's what we're here for, is learning. So let's go ahead and load in a couple of these crown moldings here. All right, so I'll go ahead and do a new sweep, and I'll go ahead and draw a few walls. Well, there goes that. All right, we'll try that on the next video.